the Netherlands. It's a pretty little place, really. This is the last sort of important motocross event of the season, really. And the cows are really, really interested in it, as you can see. This is organised by the KNMV, and everyone's turning up. Here, Timmins of Verhagen, we saw them a couple of weeks ago winning the World Championship. Here, the boys on the left, we see Carlo Hulsen in the middle, Gert-Jan van Doorn, and on the right was a bit of a tractor, we see them later on. Of course, all champions in their own rights, 500, 250, 125cc classes. And there's the big cup. Let's see who'll be drinking out of that by the end of the day. Probably one of these young ladies will be helping as well.
Van de 125, de eerste team van de 250 en de eerste team van de 500.
Here's
en nog 10 die
John van den Berg, 125cc champ.
Bij een allround wedstrijd. Dus je mag kiezen welke motormerk. Mag op 125
We've
rijden,
got
500 of
30 riders in total, the top 10 out of each CC category. Here's the champion of 125cc, Petro Tractor. Here's Gert-Jan van Doorn, the champ 250cc. He's just recovering from a bad car crash, actually. Carlo Hulsen, the 500cc champ. Beautifully prepared sand course here. And let's see who gets out. It's got to be a 500cc machine in the first corner, I would have thought. And it looks like Kees van der Ven first out on the big Honda. And number 10, Fred van Loon, there he is, and Kees van der Ven second. And that's Marcel van Drunen, number 12 on a 125cc machine. So van Drunen in there, that's extraordinary really, up in the top three. We're keeping our eyes open for some of the other guys. Missing number 8, there he is, look. There's Strybos, number 11, John van der Berg. Both had bad starts, those two boys. Big crowds turning out here. The 500cc machines pretty obviously in the first lap dominating. And the comment is from further down the field that the 125cc and 250cc boys, once the course gets cut up a bit and you start getting some of those big, long, deep sweeping ruts, you see them already starting to form. And where's Van der Ven? Van der Ven is missing now. Hulsen has moved up to 4th position. Dave Strybos in trouble there, just gets out of the way, but lost a lot of time. And yeah, as I was saying, the 125 and 250cc machines are going to start pulling back up the field when it gets really cut up. And of course, Dutch riders, the best sand riders in the world, they really are. We're going to be seeing some of that action in the big beach races, Scheveningen, of course. But let's get back to this. 3 heats here. Here's Van Loon still in the lead. And Evertsen starting to make a little bit of an impression at this stage. And now the big accident, and the leader's down, Van Loon. And everyone's waving their arms around, but no one's actually making any decisions here. Van Drunen goes into the lead by default and has to keep on racing because nobody's actually stopped the event. And with somebody lying motionless on the track, we don't know really what happened to him, but he's not moving at all. And the race should be red flagged immediately, really. And they're still carrying on. Evertsen has moved up into 2nd, and the boys are still racing. Well, they daren't really stop. Although, of course, they have to cross the start-finish line before the event is stopped anyway. And if they do red flag it, it'll be interesting to see how they apportion the results for this first heat. Now, look, you can see an awful lot of gesticulating going on at the judges here. And Van den Berg saying stop the race. But he has to continue until somebody officially stops the race. And he still isn't moving, and let's hope this is nothing serious, but, well, the event is now being stopped. And apparently nothing that serious. Van Drunen declared the winner from Evertsen, from Jan van Doorn, from Hulsen and from Bath. We'll be back, hopefully, well, we'll definitely be back with the second and third. We had, here's Van Drunen, the winner of the first heat, which only last about 6 laps, if you remember. Evertsen in second position. And Jan van Doorn in third position.
Van Drunen, de eerste heat heb je gewonnen. Wat ga je in de tweede heat doen?
Nou, ik hoop er ook weer te gaan winnen. Het is thuiscircuit en het ligt me goed.
Marcel Van Drunen reckons it's his home circuit, so
wat vind je van deze baan?
He reckons he's got a good chance.
Het is een mooie baan. Het is vrij snel, alleen met de 500 hebben we nog problemen. Met de eerste manche ben ik 2 keer voorbij gegaan, maar hij komt niet in de
500cc machines.
Maar dat wordt daar wel anders als de baan zwaarder wordt.
Have a lot of power, and in the initial stages of the race, they really don't have a huge advantage, but certainly as they start this second heat of the KNMV Challenge in Lirac, it looks like some of the bigger machines moving up to the front. Now let's hope we don't have the same sort of problems we had in the first heat, but a few of them down. No major problem here, I don't think. That was Edwin de Bruin was down. Carlo Hulsen going well. She's way out in front. The Dutch 500cc champion, Dave Strybus, is in second. Van Drunen is fifth, who won the first heat. Van der Berg had a bad start, but he's going through there now. And Van Drunen looking incredibly. Here comes... that's Dave Strybus, of course, number 8. Then that's Van Drunen, so Hulsen way out, very comfortable out in front. And that's Evertsen. Evertsen rode beautifully in the last event and just pulled his way up, kept out of trouble, Dave Strybus. That's dodgy, that, isn't he? Nearly lost it. He said his weight a bit too far forward. And Strybus planning on going to Italy next year, but it looks as if Suzuki, he's going to actually ride for Honda on 125cc next year, and that should be interesting stuff to see. There is Dave Strybus. There is William Watkins, and here is Carlo Hulsen. Lovely style Hulsen's got, looking very assured. But big machines to handle through the big ruts when they get set up. And there's Van Drunen pushing hard. And Van Drunen 6th in the World Championship so far this year. There goes Strybus, 7th in the World Championship 250cc this year, and 3rd in the Dutch Championship. Van Drunen on 125cc next year as well. Of course, being near the end of the season, there's a lot of argy-bargy and contract signing and wheeling and dealing going on, and Van Drunen's gone. Van Drunen, okay, that looked very nasty, and some of these ruts, as Leo Combe's gone through there, and Pedro Tractor around the outside there. The guys looking across. Here goes Strybus. Van der Berg doesn't know what he's doing next year either. The works teams are all looking around. There's Jaco Mois on the Honda. That's Van Doorn on the Honda. That's Leo Combe. That's Van der Berg. There goes Jan van Doorn. And that was Leo Combe again. So Hulsen has got a big problem, and that's a shame because he was way ahead at the stage, and his Honda's got a big problem. So here we go. Edwin Evertsen is in second position. It's twice he's done that. And that's two very good results for Everton, because there's a third heat left to come. And I doubt if we'll end up with that many people getting that many points, if you see what I mean. Because out of the 3 heats, that's important stuff. So Everton with 2 17s already under his belt. So it'll be interesting to see how in this second heat, oh, they're all going out. It's interesting to see how these big, that's really Van Vessel, how these big ruts are affecting people. Dave Strybos is in the lead. And unless something goes horribly wrong, it's surely got to be Strybos from Everton, and it'll be a big battle between Van der Berg, Van Doorn. There's Grivson in there, Aston Tractor's way down the field, and Jacko Moos is in there as well. Jan Van Doorn third at the moment. Big 500cc machine, a little bit of work while Van Drunen had some work done on his machine, and he's off again now. So Strybos now well in the lead. And I should think Everton will just be very, very carefully hanging on to. He's closing on him, but I wouldn't have thought he was going to be too worried, actually. And Van Doorn is third. And Van der Berg is... Leo Combe's in there as well. So a real mixed bag, sort of third, fourth and fifth down there. Tractor on the 125cc machine, Dutch champion, is in 8th position. He wants to move up next year, this Tractor, to 250. I don't know whether he's going to get a ride. He doesn't even know it yet, or if he does, he's not telling us. So the order's starting to sort itself out in this second heat now. One more heat left to go, and we're getting all 3 of them on go. A real treat for this KNMV challenge from Lierop. Very important for all the Dutch riders at the end of the season. Strybos, Everton. And Hulsen is starting. No, Hulsen is pushing hard, but there's no way. He's way out of it. And there's a big battle between Van Doorn here now. And Van der Berg and Grimson in their number 9, you can just see. But Strybos serenely taking it easy. Well, hardly. You can't take it easy, can you? But you know what I mean. And just cleaning his goggles. Van der Berg has moved up into third low. He's moved up, you know, from 25th position into third, and is that riding or what? Excellent riding. So Strybos still in front, barring any technical problems. The checkered flag is waiting for him, and he takes it. So it's Strybos from Everton. Second, looking down at his machine. I wonder if he had some problems. He had a couple of good laps near the end, but he's pointing out some problems there. So good 16 laps this time round instead of 6 laps we had in the first heat. Van der Berg third, Van Doorn fourth, Van Grimson fifth, Alvin Van Asten sixth, Jacco Moos seventh, and Pedro Tractor way down in 8th, Charles Sweben 9th, and Marcel Van Drunen 10th. Third and final heat of the KNMV Motocross Challenge. Everton got 2 17s, and brilliant stuff. John Van der Berg, he's in 5th at the moment. Strybos, handsome lad, he's 4th. Marcel Van Drunen, he won the first heat and then fell in the second. Van Doorn is hurt, not a happy bunny at all. Edwin Everton is just hoping for a good result here. Started to rain a bit, so it's going to get a bit claggy now as 30 machines set off for the third and final heat of the KNMV challenge in Leroy. And Strybos storms into the lead. And alongside him, whoa! And that is Van Drunen down again, and he creates a terrible mess there. And certainly being tempted into going a bit too hard, I would have thought there. Anyway, Hulsen in the lead again from Dave Strybos. I wonder if Hulsen can hang on to his machine this time round. And that's Cheryl Swaber. We haven't really seen very much of him. A slow starter, but always there goes Van Doorn. Behind him, Pedro Tractor. And behind him, John van der Berg. And Marcel Van Drunen, he might as well forget it. He's created a scrapyard there on that first corner. Now, let's see whether Hulsen can keep his Honda at least going until he gets to the finish line this time round. He had a wonderful second heat, and then his machine fell to pieces on him. Swaber, Van Doorn, Tractor, and I think looking very relaxed there, aren't they? Now, Hulsen rode brilliantly, as I said. It's going to be interesting to see. He's 24 years of age, started actually in the States this year, practicing over there, riding with a lot of the Supercross guys and whatever, and my word, it paid off. Dave Strybos, we reckon, is going to sign for Honda this week. That's the rumour. He's on Suzuki at the moment, of course. And there goes Gert Jan van Doorn. Bobby Moore is going to take the Italian ride that he was after. And we can see Tractor chasing hard on the outside, keeping out of trouble. And with all of these, 16 laps is quite long, and Hulsen, I'm sure they will have sorted out their problem. Everton in second place. I mean, what a consistent rider. He's had 2 seconds already. He's kept out of problems. So let's see how Van Doorn is getting on there. John van der Berg past the camera. And of course, you can see the way he's always a bit crouched over his machine when he's on the saddle. But riding well. And, a lot of bad luck this year has Van den Berg. He's riding well again, I must say. And let's hope he has a better season next season. Hulsen just putting a commanding, very relaxed stamp of authority on this event. And there goes Everton again. It'll be interesting to see how, with the slightly heavier sand with the rain on it, how it will affect the differential between... Now, here's a good battle between Tractor 3 and Van den Berg. And Van den Berg takes it sideways, loses a lot of speed there. And look at the difference that's made on that straight as Tractor hammers ahead on the Suzuki machine. So, no huge surprises at the moment. Hulsen cruising around on the outside. Looks as if he's out for a Sunday afternoon ride, doesn't he? Totally relaxed. Riding absolutely beautifully. And totally in control. 16 there is Cheryl Swaber. And Cheryl Swaber in his 125cc machine has pulled up. Everton is... He must have had a problem there because he was doing well. And there's Pedro Tractor. Very muddling the way these riders wear different numbers on their backs sometimes. It does create problems for us all. So Tractor still in front of Van den Berg, but being chased quite hard. And Hulsen actually catching up some back markers now. He's on his last lap, and Cheryl Swaber. And there goes Strybos. That's Everton, keeping out of trouble. That's all he's got to do, finish in 4th, and he'll walk it, won't he? Van den Berg is 5th now. Confirmed, of course, by our captions. And you can see how difficult it gets when it starts getting rutted, and the big 500 machines can't handle it. Well, having said that, they can't handle it, but this man seems to be having no trouble at all. And he had the best in fastest time in training as well. It's interesting to see. He only did 8 training laps, and he was way the fastest. 2 seconds faster than anyone else. Cheryl Sweeper put in 13 training laps. And it's funny, Everton and the boys weren't anywhere near the fastest laps in training, so they obviously got saving themselves for race day. And nobody knows what half these guys are going to be riding next year. It's going to be quite exciting to find out. I know we're going to have a chat with them after the race and see if they'll tell us, but I bet they don't. Do remember, we're going to be seeing a lot of these riders at the beach race in Scheveningen, which we're covering exclusively on Go, of course, here on Screen Sport. And that's always a crazy, crazy event. Look how relaxed this guy is. Certainly that little sojourn in the States has done him the world of good. And as long as his Honda keeps going, the man is unbeatable. And the machine performing beautifully. He's on his last lap. And I'm just trying to add up his points. He got 13 points on the first heat, nothing on the second heat. So if he wins this heat, he'll get 33 points, and that should put him somewhere in the top 5 or 6 anyway. Gerald Sweeber, well, he only got 1 point for the first heat, 7 on the second heat. So he's going to be way down the running order. Dave Strybos had a lousy first heat too. He only got 2 points, but he got 20, of course, on the second heat. So he should be up there somewhere. And if Van Dorn can just improve what he's doing at the moment, he could be on the podium as well, you know. So round we come towards the checkered flag. He gives it a wheelie. He's really pleased. He looks over his shoulder. And what a controlled performance that was. 24 years of age, Carlo Hulsel, the Dutch 500cc champion, walks it here. So Everton ends up with 13 points. Dave Strybus 15 points. So Everton in the lead. Strybus gets second. You'll see it in a minute. Well, let's have a chat with Everton now. Is he the best motocross rider in Holland, we ask him? But he says, well, I don't know. He fell in the third motor, otherwise he may have won it, he said. And he was the best after 3. So he doesn't know whether he's the best. What a modest lad he is. Today he said I was lucky. That's motocross. And he's happy. How about the 250s? Did he feel they were in favour? They had an advantage over the 500s? And he said he felt the 250s certainly did have the overall advantage. So we have a look at it after the 3 heats. Everton from Strybos from Van Dorn. Carlo Hulsen, look, who only did 2 heats, manages 4th position. Well done to him. So present the trophy indoors.
So.
Big trophy, huh? You need to build a special room for that one. Now, this is where we ask some of the riders and ask them what they're going to do next year. He wants to move up to 250.
Ik hoop dat ik bij Suzuki kan blijven, maar dat is de vraag nog.
He'd like to stay with Suzuki, he says, and he hopes to. But he's got some contracts with Honda on the offing, so he's going to obviously be a bit of, here's Van Dorn, be a bit of an auction, I should think. What's he up to? He doesn't know yet, he says. Dave Strybos, he doesn't know either yet. He thinks he knows, but he's not sure. A definite maybe from him. From next week maybe we'll be able to tell you that.
Volgend jaar, ja, ik heb een paar goede aanbiedingen. Dus,
he's got a few things up his sleeve. He says he's had a few good propositions.
Ik heb al iets in mijn
He's
hoofd.
going to make his own decision
Kan ik nog niet bekendmaken.
He's been concentrating on his racing.
Ik heb nog geen plannen voor volgend jaar. Ik ben bezig met
met een paar aanbiedingen te bekijken. En ja, het ziet er wel beter uit dan vorig jaar. Dus,
selecting his options as well. He's had 1 or 2 propositions.
Wat de strandrace betreft, die heeft al 2 keer gewonnen. Denk je hem nu voor de 3e keer te gaan winnen?
Ik denk het wel.
What about the beach race then, Everton? Do you think you're going to be able to win that? And he says, yeah, I reckon I could, as long as everything goes okay.
En wie wordt er dan top 3?
And we'll be there to see whether he can. Who do you think his main other competitors will be? Some good Dutch and there'll be a few good Americans there as well. He's going to try hard. Well, that's about it for the